Right. We are going live for a tornado emergency in far southern Illinois, headed into Kentucky. As of now, this is headed just south of Harrisburg and right over Carrier Mills. Hopefully, it looks like it spun itself out for the moment. Just coming online a few minutes after the peak. But this is a nasty, dangerous storm that is headed towards Shawneetown, past Carrier Mills, towards Morganfield and Robards. Fortunately, a little bit of rural countryside in the area here, but for the most part, seem to be good. Yes, this is progressing over the Carrier Mills area. Again, it looks like it has temporarily spun itself out for the moment. But let's get rid of a little bit that's on the screen here because we've got a bit much. I am flying in to set this up at the last second. Bring our spotters online, and let's get rid of some of these with the storm tracks. But oh my goodness, we have a lot going on here. We have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings, and we have, again, the tornado emergency with a catastrophic tornado for Dikersburg and Carrier Mills. This is northeast of New Burnside, headed towards the Kentucky-Illinois border. As of a few minutes ago, this is, let's get this to load here. This is what it looked like. We had a large destructive tornado on the ground less than 15 minutes ago, and at this point it looks like it died out right there. It's probably cycling, given that we have this long arm just sticking off of it. It's looking a little less healthy, but still plenty of rotation up there. I mean, this thing looks nasty just all around. I don't know what to say about it. Harrisburg, hopefully you're going to be in the clear unless there's an including rotation up in this one. Other tornadoes that are going on at the moment, or at least tornado warnings. We have Hopkinsville, just northeast of Hopkinsville. This thing looks nasty. I think it may be about to drop. Again, let's take a look just back a few minutes and see. Yep, it is trying to produce something, or it may be actively. I think it is either. I think it's actively producing something right now. I don't think that's a debris ball. That looks like a little bit of radar clutter, but we do have this very tight area of rotation here. Again, this is tracking towards, let's see, Russellville, Lewisburg, Auburn, and Woodburn. And unfortunately, right towards the Bowling Green metro area. Hopefully this thing continues going south or fizzles out by the time it gets there. But right now, it's not looking too good. Metro area of Bowling Green, Kentucky needs to be ready for this, because this could be a pretty serious storm. I'm going to go ahead and pull up a few other things. Again, I'm throwing this all together at the last moment. Let's take a look at the surface analysis for this area. Let's take a look at the violent tornado parameter. I mean, it's off the charts everywhere. I don't know. There's not a storm in this entire area that is not a potential tornado producer. Significant tornado probability. Also, with our major supercell, or two major supercells right along this, we've got kind of the trifecta here of 1, 2, 3 of major storms ongoing. So again, we need to keep a very, very close eye on that as well. What else we've got going on here? I mean, this is a really, really nasty situation across the board. Let's take a look at the visible satellite. And I mean, these storms are uninhibited. They have lots of clear air here. We can kind of see this boundary forming in a east by northeast to west by southwest direction, as it's kind of just laying itself out here. Again, plenty of warm air, clear air, and inflow for these storms to feed off of. Bulk shear is extremely high in that area, not surprised at all, and we are getting much more of a favorable condition. Oh, yeah, there it is. Wow. Look at that. We have probably a PDS tornado warning imminent for Lewisburg and Bowling Green, Kentucky. This could be a very serious situation if it continues to hold together and strengthen. We have lots of turbulent inflow right along this notch here. It's got clear air. It's got nothing in the way. Fortunately, no nudgers or mergers in the area, so it may not be able to strengthen quite as quickly as we would see in any other situation. But let's take a look over here. We've got another supercell forming up near Benton and Blodgett. This area already had one tornado, maybe several tornadoes, and it may be about to get another one. Mounds and Mountain City is right in the sights of this thing. La Center, Metropolis, I think that's what that says, Paducah, all going to be right in the sights of this thing. And as we go further down the line, we have a tornado warning just to the south of Poplar Bluff. That poor town could not catch a break this year. But this one's not looking as healthy for the moment. It's kind of at a radar hole, so we'll keep an eye on it. Go back up to let's take a look up north here in Indiana. We have multiple tornado warnings all over the place, headed towards Columbus. That's also another very clear tornadic signal there, although it does not look as healthy as all of these other ones. It's kind of got a cluttered environment. It's coming in behind these storms ahead of it. So hopefully not going to be as healthy of a supercell as the rest of these. But let's take a look back down at our Harrisburg tornado emergency again. This is just a nasty storm. We have been downgraded to, I believe, a PDS warning. Yeah, it's being downgraded to a PDS warning as it does not look as dangerous anymore. Again, still likely a tornado on the ground, headed almost directly east, and my mic is dropping away from me right now. Spared no expense. But this is headed towards Shawneetown and south of Equality. It is definitely cycling. I don't think we are going to see anything quite yet, but it is starting to get kind of a tilt to it that would suggest it's going to produce again, headed towards Morganfield and Robards. Shawneetown, you're going to get some nasty hail. If this occludes, it may come towards you, but I would not expect you're in any immediate danger unless you're in the south part of town in Old Shawneetown. Keep an eye out for an incoming tornado warning. I expect we're going to see that very soon. That looks nasty, but I don't think it's going to produce anything. Let's take a look back down here at the storm approaching Bowling Green, because this again is headed, and oh my goodness, we have a major tornado ongoing right here, guaranteed. That is a tornado. That is a debris ball. We have a significant tornado ongoing, headed towards Bowling Green, Kentucky. It's going to be headed towards the south end of town. I'm going to go ahead and get my stream out there because I haven't posted anything about it yet. But this is looking extremely nasty already. I'm going to take a look at my Twitter feed here. We've got stuff going all over the place. Tornado reports are flying in across the board. This is nasty, 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 nasty. All right. Gonna keep going on the fly here. This is a really scary situation. This could very easily be a violent long track tornado if it keeps itself together. Let's take a zoom in here. We're gonna pop real quick into our chat here. All right, gonna keep watching this. This is right now. This is the storm of the hour, as the other one is still cycling. It looks like I do think it's gonna produce something here very soon, but right now it is not quite as organized as it could be. It is very unlikely that it's on the ground right now. It is definitely cycling, so I expect we're gonna see another tornado warning, probably headed out somewhere along here is what we're gonna see, maybe a little further north. But again, this whole area is rotating. It's just not producing anything at the moment. Still cycling, getting its act together. This cell back near Mounds is definitely strengthening, but does not look super dangerous right now. There is a tornado warning attached to it, maybe some little spin up vortices underneath there, but nothing extremely concerning yet, although that is likely to change as it moves into a more favorable environment. Let's take a look back over at the cell approaching Bowling Green. It is very much a PDS, confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado, moving east at 50 miles an hour. So this thing is moving quick. Again, it's approaching the southern Lewisburg area, and Bowling Green, Plum Springs, Woodburn, Auburn, all of y'all are in the path of this thing. It could take a right turn and head a little further south, but I would expect we're probably going to see it occlude a little bit up towards Lewisburg. So y'all need to be very, very aware of this as we see it headed towards you now. It's going to clear out of the rain here in a minute. I think we have a chaser in the area. Don't know if there's anything from him yet, but this is going to be a very dangerous situation for Lewisburg, and especially southern Lewisburg. Russellville, you are going to be in the clear, although you're in the tornado warning. Far extreme northern reaches of Russellville, you need to be watching very carefully in case this thing takes a right turn. Again, the story is going to be Bowling Green. If this thing holds on for the next hour, it's going to be headed into a major metro area. So we need to keep a very close eye on that now. Let's move back up to the Harrisburg cell. Check back in on this thing. It's starting to try and produce again, that is for certain. This is going to be a dangerous storm for a very long time. I think we could see a tornado drop out of this any second now, although it would not likely be strong at the moment, but it is definitely trying to do something. As it heads towards Morganfield and Shawneetown, again, this triggered a tornado emergency not 30 minutes ago and is still a very, very dangerous system. Got some nudgers coming in behind it. Nothing that could potentially trigger a rapid spin up here soon, but this is an extremely dangerous storm. If you're in any of these places, you need to be taking shelter right now, because there will be a tornado warning coming out of this thing here very, very soon. I pretty much guarantee it. Let's take a quick peek up at the cells up here in Indiana. Lots of tornado warnings, and we're getting a PDS warning on that, I guarantee it. South of Nashville, Indiana. This is a very dangerous tornado yet again. We're going to have to say that a dozen times, but it has a very clear debris ball. It's not massive, but it's there. It's headed towards Columbus, Indiana. Again, Columbus, Indiana. Very, very dangerous storm. Like we said a few minutes ago, it's probably going to produce something. I guarantee you it's producing right now. We've got a debris signature. We've got a debris ball. We've got rotation. And I mean, it is all clear in terms of inflow. A lot of the moisture and some of the energy has been taken out by these storms ahead of it, but that is not stopping a tornado from being produced at the moment. So I would expect we're going to see a PDS on this here soon as it heads towards Columbus, Indiana. I think this is a fairly populated area. I'm going to take a look at maps right now because I don't have the money to pay for road networks. So let's take a quick look up here. Find Columbus. Yep, this is a populated area. This is not good. It's coming off of the mountains, and we've seen this before. This happened with the Valonia tornado. As a tornadic system comes off these mountains here, it tends to accelerate some of the inflow due to gravity, and that could act as kind of a nudger that's going to spin this thing up. Headed towards the Tipton Lakes area and Oak Brook Park, you'll need to be very, very, very much in your shelters. This is a dangerous tornado. Headed towards Columbus. If this thing can hold on through the mountains, it's probably going to produce something pretty dangerous up here. Just south of Nashville, it is in a mountainous area. Fortunately, it is not in a particularly populated area for the moment, but it is headed right towards Columbus. And as it gets into this area, I am honestly pretty nervous about what it's going to do. These mountains can act as kind of a funnel with all of that inflow coming from the south. It's already producing in the mountains, so if it holds on to whatever it's latched onto right now, whatever boundary is there, and it makes it to Columbus, this could be yet another very, very dangerous tornado. It is on the ground. It is doing damage. Columbus, you need to be in your safe place. Hartsville, you need to be in your safe place. And everywhere in between, please take shelter. This is going to be a very dangerous tornado. Head back down to Harrisburg, and we have a new PDS warning as expected. Headed towards Shawneetown. Still, you are very much in the sights of this thing. South Shawneetown especially. Let's come down here and take a look at where we're at. There's Harrisburg. There's Shawneetown. Very small town, nothing much to the south. Hopefully it's going to pass somewhere down here, but we have that mountain that could play a thing here. Topography does affect tornadoes. It could kill it, cutting off its inflow, or it could accelerate it. So we're going to need to keep a very close eye on that. It's out kind of in the middle of nowhere right now, but it is headed towards South Shawneetown. It's probably located somewhere around here near Kedron. And it's curving kind of generally up. It may pass south of the mountains. That's kind of a best case scenario. There are a few houses down here, so hopefully this mountain and this hill here act as kind of more destructive measures as opposed to enhancing it like they could. But it's wrapping back up. It's producing a tornado likely right now. I think that's a debris ball we're seeing. It's kind of hard to tell with all the interference. Let's move back down to the Bowling Green tornado, as this is still the one I'm most concerned about. Doesn't look quite as organized. Debris ball could be a little bit scattered, but I mean, that is debris that we're seeing up in the air. It's showing up on CC right along the velocity couplet, right here along this ball of rain that's not actually rain. That is just pieces of homes, trees, various other debris flying in the air, passing just south of Lewisburg. This storm also probably has some pretty nasty hail in it, as we've got, I think, nope, just a regular severe thunderstorm warning. I believe it was PDS earlier. Over in Cairo, we have a tornado warning. This does not look that threatening at all. Mound City, Barlow, the center, be in your safe place, but I think y'all will be okay, at least for the moment. Down near Bloomfield and Bernie, we also have this. It's kind of still in a radar hole, but there is enough rotation for them to put a warning on it, so keep an eye on that. East Prairie, this is going to be headed towards you. As we approach later in the evening, as the sun goes down, as usual, we should probably expect to see the LLJ crank up. We're going to get more shear. We're going to get more rotation in these storms. They could be much more dangerous for a period of time before all of that cape starts to fade away. Unfortunately, the storm is starting to head into a bit of a radar hole that we have over here near Evansville. But that is a nasty look. That is likely another tornado that is either on the ground or will be very, very shortly. It's wrapping itself back up. We have a PDS warning attached to it. Considerable, not catastrophic, but it is a confirmed tornado. Please take cover now. Morganfield and Uniontown, this is coming to you. Waverly and Cordon as well. Shawneetown, hopefully it stays south of you. Hopefully those mountains play a positive role, but we cannot bet on that at all. Let's move back up to Indiana, where we have that. Wow. That That is giving me chills. That's a violent tornado on the ground. It's kicking up debris. Very, very tight rotation. It is 100% on the ground headed towards Columbus. Again, it's a tree eater right now, and that's kind of the only thing we have going for us right now, is that it is literally kind of out in the mountains. It's in this area here, probably down near, let's see if I can do a little triangulation. It's crossing that road right kind of where it gets janky, Stonehead. It's right over Stonehead, passing through this area, headed towards Happy Hollow Camp. I hope everyone there is in shelter, because this is a violent tornado on the ground. Guarantee it. Grandview Lake, lots of homes here. I'm hoping these mountains keep this thing off the ground and it stays a tree muncher and then it lifts, but we cannot guarantee that at all. Quick look back at the mesoscale analysis. Violent tornado parameter continues to be off the charts. These storms are riding right along the edge of it, as they tend to do. This one that prompted the tornado emergency as it's approaching Kentucky is right in the middle of like the maximum favorable tornado conditions. This one down here is also riding the boundary. Gonna be a pretty concerning tornado producing storm for a while. This is just absolutely nasty. If we take a look through the upper levels, I mean, we can see debris is being lofted pretty high in this storm already. Very, very tight rotation, as high as we can scan. That is a scary look right there. I do not like that at all. I hope this lifts before it reaches Columbus. One thing we have going for us is these storms have all been producing pretty short-lived tornadoes. We are not in much of a long tracker situation here, but we have 1.5 inch hail and an observed tornado. PDS for Columbus. Everyone in town, get to your safe place anywhere in between. Hartsville, this is coming to you afterwards. If it cycles, this could be headed towards Westport as well. Everyone in this area, prepare to be taking shelter. I know you were just in shelter after this previous tornado warning, but this one is serious. You need to be taking shelter now. This is a large, dangerous tornado that is on the ground right now. It is in a rural area, but it will not stay in a rural area for very long. Very, very worrying right there. I do not like the look of that whatsoever. That may be one of the most damaging tornadoes we see today. All right, let's check back down on the Bowling Green storm, if I can choose a radar properly. It's hard to tell what's going on with this. It's kind of close to the radar. Let's take a look up through a couple of scans, see if we can clear some of that clutter. Rotation's not super well defined. Hopefully it stays that way. They're allowing it to move out of the PDS into just a regular tornado warning. Hopes and prayers, it stays south of Lewisburg, stays in relatively unpopulated territory, but it is headed towards Bowling Green again. And Bowling Green is a pretty significantly populated area. Lots to the south here. Taz Trucking, Red Point Climbing Center. All of this down to the south from Shawnee Estates and down below is in the direct sight of this tornado if it does produce. It's rural up until it hits Highway 68, and then we're going to start to have some pretty significant problems if this touches down. We've already had a damaging tornado in St. Louis today. We don't need to have one in Bowling Green. That would kind of be a worst case scenario. This is the moderate at minimum was warranted. It's verifying. It's very much verifying. We can see we've got that donut hole going on here. This thing is wrapping up fast. I'm going to have to get some water because I'm losing my voice already, but that is just a nasty look. There's no clear and defined debris ball, so we are staying PDS. There is likely a tornado on the ground, but it does not seem to be a particularly strong or well-organized one for the moment. Shawneetown looks like it's going south of you, hopefully. Not quite sure what's going on with that little bit of convection we're seeing. That could be an occluding circulation actually headed into town, so be careful. There could be a small tornado on the ground headed into Shawneetown. Old Shawneetown, the main circulation is about to go right over you, so please be sheltering. Be underground if you can at all. You have probably 5 to 10 minutes, probably 5 minutes until this is right on top of you. Morganfield, be ready to take shelter. This is coming straight at you. What are we looking at in terms of Morganfield, Kentucky? Looks like a small city almost. It's pretty populated, which is not good. This is headed straight at you, right along Highway 56. It's just traveling right along this road. Shawneetown, it looks like it's staying south. I think, based off the look of it, the mountains are interrupting the circulation, so hopefully it's going to pass over you harmlessly. Lots of inflow. The RFD is probably going to be pretty dangerous on this thing. And Morganfield, it's coming right at you. Need to be ready to shelter right away. Waverly, Corydon, sorry about that. Headed straight for you in Robards. We don't quite know which way this thing is going to go, so we're going to have to keep a very close eye on it. The Lewisburg tornado down here is hopefully looks like it's not producing anything. We've got a pretty significant RFD here, but there's not much of a hook. Not much to speak of on CC. Lots of turbulence in the inflow, so this thing is nowhere near weakening, but it is just disorganized for the moment. Let's move back up to the Columbus tornado. Nothing really worrying with any of these other storms for the moment. Okay, well, I take that back. Kind of in a radar hole, but there is a little donut on here. We've got a BWER, so this storm is strengthening. It's kind of small, but that could be a pretty dangerous storm. Just moving south of Farmersburg, headed towards Clay City and Jasonville area. Hopefully it doesn't do much. I think we may see another tornado warning up here somewhere for north of Centerpoint, as we do have kind of an embedded another supercell here with some pretty well-defined rotation. It's not strong, but it's getting there. Back to Columbus, and man, we still have a very strong tornado on the ground, and it's approaching the edge of the mountains. It's about to move into a populated area. That's really not good. You need to, if you're in Columbus, please, for the love of God, get underground if you can. This is going to be a very strong tornado. Very, very powerful rotation. It's kicking up debris. It's picking up trees and throwing them, headed towards the smaller town of Bethany. All of these areas are going to likely be impacted by the tornado. Lots of structures in the way. This is just not a good situation whatsoever. Hopefully it's about to cycle. It needs to lift, and if it's going to lift, it needs to lift now before it hits town. Looks like it may be weakening just a tad, but it is 100% still on the ground. I think we have a tornado emergency. No, we still have a PDS warning attached to this. Very, very dangerous tornado. Columbus needs to be in shelter. If this strengthens at all, we're getting a tornado emergency. Hartsville, you are now under the PDS tornado warning, and Westport. Let's take a look at kind of the path this thing is taking. I mean, it's winding up for the punch. It's headed straight into southern Columbus, and there's not much we can do about it at this point. Just shelter and pray and be in a safe place. This doesn't look particularly strong. I think it's weakening, but I don't want to say that because it still is an extremely well-organized storm. Go back down to Bowling Green. Still nothing on this. Looks like it's gusting out. It's definitely elevated. Hopefully it is running out of juice. And we can kind of take a look back at that. It may be running out of juice. Well, I say that, and it's moving right through a pocket of 4,000 Cape. Hopefully it stays elevated. We don't need this thing to do any more than it's doing already. Forecast for this level of Cape is not great. It's not supposed to really go anywhere right now, but we are looking at this entire system up here kind of going linear, which would preclude some tornado formation after a bit. Unfortunately, it tends to enhance it as well for a brief period of time. So we're going to be under the gun here for a minimum another hour and a half, I would say. The storm down near Paducah, Again, it looks like crap, but if we take a closer look, we have kind of this little curve here. It's got a hook. I don't know if that's actually a hook or not. It's hard to tell with this storm. It's kind of just a massive rain right now. Take a peek through the upper levels. I think there's a little bit of rotation near Mound City, east of Mound City. I think this thing is kind of restructuring itself. It's clearing out its inflow. We'll see what it does. I think if we see a new hook, it's going to be somewhere along here. Kind of in this area. Not a lot to look at for the moment, but it is still a very strong storm, and it is tornado warned. So Metropolis, Paducah, Smithland, and Woodlawn Oakdale, you need to be in your safe place and prepared to stay there for a while, because this thing is not also moving all that fast. So keep an eye on that. We have a new PDS warning or tornado emergency, depending on what this next one is for Morganfield. We still have a PDS warning. It's headed towards Corydon, Waverly, and Robards. Nothing crazy in terms of the hook, but it is in the process of strengthening rapidly. We have lots of turbulence in the inflow here. Very, very well pronounced hook. We just don't have a confirmed spot where the tornado would be exactly. But it is likely on the ground. It's just not a super well condensed funnel, if I had to take a guess. If we take a look through the upper levels, we can kind of see we have very strong rotation. The hook is forming, and it will likely be very, very strong and on the ground here very, very soon, which hence the PDS warning. Morganfield and Waverly, be in your safe place. This is headed straight towards town. It's going to continue traveling right along this route here, right along this road. It's going to be over Morganfield here in the next 10 minutes, and unfortunately, I expect it'll be on the ground at that point with the patterns that these have. We have a couple of chasers that are actually right in front of this thing. So Brett Adair is probably getting a great view right now. I may take a look and see what I can see. In terms of this, I mean, it's got beautiful inflow. It's in a perfect location. We're probably going to see something pretty significant touchdown here. See if Brett Adair is streaming. He is. All right, I'm going to steal his audio. Just taking a look to see what he can see. Yeah, they're right in the middle of an absolutely wild hook slice going over a bridge, actually. Kudos to him. I don't think I would have pulled that off. I don't have the balls for that. But this is an insane looking supercell. I mean, it's in a perfect location. It's headed straight towards these towns. Morganfield, unfortunately, is going to take a hit if this thing touches down. I'm watching Brett's stream, see if you can get a view of it. I'm not seeing anything right now. But y'all are crazy for going out right in front of this thing. Who else do we have here? Bryce Shelton, so that would mean Tornado Page. Yeah, Paige Berdomus is right on it. Oh, there we go. We got to view the wall cloud. Not seeing much yet. Let's see what the other chasers are looking at as this approaches Morganfield. It's traveling right along the road. You couldn't ask for a better setup. Paige is not streaming for the moment, so we'll just keep Brett online here. Starting to see some damage reports come in. It's very loud. I don't want the audio. We have, oh my goodness, we have like pretty much slabbed homes north of Cereal Springs, Illinois. This tornado has been doing damage for, that's back here. Yeah, this tornado did some extreme damage. Hopefully everyone is okay, but that is very, very high on tornado damage right there. This is a very, very powerful storm. It's got a lot of momentum, and Morganfield, y'all are right in the sights. Waverly, Corydon, you need to be sheltering. You do not have much time. You have maybe enough time to grab the family pet and get underground. And that's it. You need to be underground for this thing. It has been doing extreme damage and likely will continue to do so. All right, let's go back down to the Bowling Green storm just to check in on it. You can kind of see in the upper levels, it is trying to wrap back up. It's not looking super healthy for the moment, but it is starting to organize again. So Bowling Green, please be ready for a tornado warning. Please be ready for a strong storm to make it to you, because normally I wouldn't say this is going to do much anytime soon, but today has been proving me wrong with that. So be ready to shelter if you're in Bowling Green, Kentucky, or anywhere in between Lewisburg and Bowling Green. It's headed right for the center of town, so hopefully it lifts and stays lifted. Columbus, gonna come back up to you. Looks like the tornado is cycling right as it's approaching town. It is probably still on the ground, but it is hopefully not strong from the look of it. Lots of debris fallout ongoing. Definitely doing damage, but does not look to be strong anymore. We have multiple tornado reports from spotters in the area, and a report of a wall cloud, which is actually a good thing, because that means it's probably not on the ground right as it's skipping over town. Very, very dangerous storm. Hartsville, be ready for this thing to cycle and come to you and anywhere between Westport and Hartsville. Hoping and praying right now that it is not on the ground in Columbus. Upper levels are showing, again, very, very strong rotation, but this storm does look like it's starting to die out. I think it's feeling the effects of all of this convection clearing out all the moisture. Back over to Clay City, we've still got that donut hole going on. There's probably a tornado on the ground there, although it's probably not strong. Very small. We're not getting a lot of cape up here, and what cape there was is being cleared out by all of these, so hopefully these tornadoes do not continue. I think Columbus may dodge a bullet, but I don't want to speak too soon. Morganfield, it's wrapping up. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it is wrapping up and is probably about to touch down. Let me check back in with Brett Adair and see if we can see anything again. This is a nasty situation. I mean, it's headed straight for town. There's no way it's going to miss. The only way it's going to miss is if it's up in the air. All right, let's see what he's saying. Rapid motion overhead. He's passing right underneath the hook. This is a very dangerous storm. I think we're going to see a tornado, like, be confirmed on the ground. If not already be, actually, we may have some debris there, although I think that is just clear air, but we're going to have a significant tornado on the ground in the next 5 to 10 minutes at the very most. It is going to be moving through Morganfield. Plan for the worst. I would expect this thing is going to touch down really soon. I'm looking at Brett's stream right now, and I'm seeing lots and lots of spin. This thing is trying to plant a very, very significant tornado. Look at all that inflow. I mean, this thing is absolutely sucking in warm, moist air. And we're going to see a tornado drop from that wall cloud very soon. That is a violently moving wall cloud. This has all the hallmarks of a SIGTOR violent tornado producer. And I would be more surprised if it doesn't produce than if it does. We're going to need to keep watching this super, super close. Again, I'm watching the stream. It's not on the ground yet, but I can't imagine that it won't be here in the next couple of minutes. Corydon, this is going to be coming to you. Waverly, Robards. Beyond that, Owensboro is a pretty major metro area this is headed towards. It's cycled multiple times, produced multiple violent tornadoes. So we don't have much hope of it stopping. So Owensboro, you need to start preparing now. If you're watching this, pass the word along. Find somebody you know in the area and make sure that they get underground as soon as possible, because this is a nasty, nasty system. All right, let's take a quick check-in on the other storms, but this is definitely the one of interest for now. Bowling Green, I think, is getting itself organized again. Still a tornado warning. Hopefully it's going to track south of town, but I don't have much expectation of that. It's going to be passing just north of Auburn in the next 10 minutes. It is getting organized again, but I don't think we have any immediate danger out of this, although I think we're going to see a tornado warning probably looks something like this, potentially more like this, as it heads towards Bowling Green metro area. Hoping and praying it doesn't. Let's check back in on Columbus. Based on what I saw on the radar last, I think I don't know about that. Yeah, we don't have very clear rotation anywhere near the ground, which is a really good thing. I think this storm is kicking the bucket right now. There's probably still some ground rotation going on in Columbus. I would expect we're going to hear of some damage here soon. But the worst, I think, is over, as this storm is very slowly either cycling or killing itself. Back over to the west with Clay City. This is a pretty dangerous looking storm. We don't have a good radar read on it pretty much from anywhere. But we're going to assume that there is a tornado tracking right back towards Edinburgh, Taylorsville, and Columbus. So y'all do not expect to necessarily be in the clear yet, but that's going to be at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half before it gets over there. We do have a new tornado warning down south here, headed towards the Boot Heel by Reno, and Noble headed towards Greenway and Pigot. I don't know how to pronounce that without it sounding like a slur. Just south of Corning, the primary rotation is kind of right here. It's hard to tell because it's a little far from the radar. But this is going to be moving towards kind of the Mississippi River here over the next 45 minutes. Energy does tend to kind of move south down the line, so we're going to want to keep watching all of these. I expect we're going to see a couple of spin-ups down here, although they're not in the most favorable tornado production areas. Back up here near Paducah, we do have a tornado warned storm here. It's really hard to tell what's going on with this one. It's very close to the radar, so we're probably going to have to wait a few minutes before we get a good read on it. Next nearest radar is this one, and not much going on there either, but the National Weather Service, it does see fit to put a tornado warning on this. So Paducah, be in your safe place. Brookport, be in your safe place. Woodland, Oakdale, be in your safe place, please. This is still a dangerous storm, although it does not look like it is that much of a threat for the moment, but be prepared for it to become one very, very rapidly. And here we go. Right as it's approaching Morganfield. Fantastic. We have debris. This is on the ground. And it's headed right into town. It's still pretty broad. We don't have that much, so I would expect it's probably some kind of a multi-vortex spin-up situation here, but it's about to be really strong, and it's in town now. We have a damaging tornado in Morganfield. Hopefully it's not doing that much damage. This does look kind of small for the moment, but it is absolutely on the ground. Pretty much guarantee it. And actually, with that latest scan, we are seeing some really tight rotation in here, so it is touching down just south of town. It may miss most of Morganfield, but it's headed towards Breckenridge Center. Let me double check and see kind of what's down there. Because I don't keep all of this in my head, unfortunately. Yeah, Morganfield, Mexican, Thomas and Thomas, kind of these complexes down here are going to be right in the path of this tornado. I expect we're going to see some damage down here somewhere. It's going to pass right over Highway 60 here. Hopefully it misses the main population center. If it occludes at all, it's going to be right in downtown Morganfield. Breckenridge Center is going to take a pretty significant hit if this stays on the ground. This is a very dangerous storm. It's headed right into this entire area. We are not going to get so lucky with that, I think. We still have a PDS warning, so they've not seen fit to issue a tornado emergency yet, but it is doing damage in Morganfield as we speak. Let's see if Brett sees anything. Not seeing anything on his stream. Stream went down just a few minutes ago, and it's been disconnected since. He's driving through the hook, so that makes sense. Yeah, trying to hook slice and stream at the same time is usually not all that successful. Check back in with, oh man, that's a significant debris ball. That is a strong tornado on the ground somewhere in this area, tracking straight towards southern Breckenridge Center. Waverly, I think it's going to miss you. That's the good news. Robards, I don't think it's going to miss you. So please be prepared to be in your safe place. You've got about 15 minutes at most until this gets to you. Corridon, I think you're going to be okay unless this occludes up towards you. I really hope and pray that southern Morganfield is not being hit too hard right now. It's passing right along this hill. This may interrupt its inflow, but it also may enhance it. So we're looking at kind of a coin flip here. Hopefully it stays where it is right now and passes just to the southern end of all of these populated areas. Oh, that is really nasty. That's a significant tornado in southern Morganfield right now. Again, it looks like it's somewhere in this area. It's kind of in open fields, but it likely has hit several structures and is probably going to hit several more. Anywhere in this area here is directly in the path of this thing. We have what looks like kind of a dredging center over here. UC Mining. Waverly, I think you're going to be okay. But Morganfield is taking a hit right now. All right, we're gonna take a quick look at the other storms that are ongoing. We do now have a tornado for Bowling Green, like expected. It is tightening up. It does not look significant yet, but it definitely is capable of producing a significant tornado anytime in the next 20 minutes. So metro area of Bowling Green needs to be prepped. Unfortunately, if this were to strengthen and touch down, it's probably going to be touching down right before it gets to town. Plum Springs, if this occludes, it's going to be headed towards Smith Grove, but I expect it's going to go kind of out in the middle of nowhere here and then head towards Glasgow, another populated area. So be prepared and be making plans now if you're in Glasgow. Owensboro, this is headed towards you, and it has a long history of producing significant tornadoes, so be preparing. Please be preparing. That is unbelievable. That is a huge tornado. It looks like it's passing just south of town. It's hitting these areas. Some of these houses have guaranteed taken a hit, and it's headed right towards this subdivision here. Whispering Meadows Baptist Church, Bob Greenwell's Mechanical Services, Fire and Rescue, all of these areas are going to be right underneath this thing here very soon. It's going to pass through an open field. Again, this hill might be able to block some of its inflow, but I'm more worried that it actually might enhance it. We could have a Valonia situation here with this tornado. That is a very strong tornado on the ground. I hope we're going to get a tornado emergency for this soon because we need one. It's passing over this hill now. Just to the southeast, it's just crossed State Route 56 here, and it's headed straight into this subdivision on the far southwest end. This gives me Rolling Fork vibes. Beyond that, not a lot, which is good. It's going to be headed towards Dixie Methodist Church if it stays in its continued path, and then over towards Robards. There are various smaller structures and houses in the way of this thing, no populated areas, and thank goodness, from how it looks on radar, it's missing downtown Morganfield. Hopefully it stays decently south of Breckenridge Center. That is an absolutely massive debris ball. The velocity is not showing a huge tornado, so hopefully this thing is not a wedge and it's kind of smaller, but unfortunately smaller does mean it can still be violent and doing damage. Let's check back in on Bowling Green quickly. Not organized yet, but capable of dropping a significant tornado anytime in the next 15 minutes. Still, anytime. Again, if you're anywhere between Lewisburg and Bowling Green in front of this thing, please be preparing. Be ready for a significant tornado in your area as soon as possible. We have reports, looks like, of a tornado in Columbus. Not surprised. But there it is. Yep, the storm died. It finally burned itself out right as it got through town. Probably a pretty significant microburst involved with that fast of a collapse. And a very quick lightning burst right at the end there, too. But I do think it probably lifted right about here, right as it got into town. So we hopefully have fairly minor damage. Yep, only a funnel cloud reported, and this storm is, for the moment, officially dead. I can't imagine it's going to reorganize either. However, back towards Freedom, we do have this one trying to get organized. Does not look significant, but we could see a couple of spin-up tornadoes just south of Spencer as this heads towards y'all and Ellettsville, Steinsville. Freedom, you're probably going to get a pretty good view, but you are going to be in the clear from this most likely. But let's get back to the primary event in question. Oh my goodness. Lord help these people. This is a major tornado. Velocity looks like it might be falling apart a little bit, but this is an unbelievably strong tornado. There is debris being lofted through pretty much every scan. We have debris up several, I don't even know how to calculate it. That's a couple, maybe 30 or 40,000 feet. Rotation is strong all the way up the mesocyclone. This is a historic tornado ongoing southeast of Morgan Field right now. It's maybe, depending on how small the funnel is, it may be missing this subdivision here, but we unfortunately can't be that hopeful. I hope everyone there is sheltered. I hope everyone there is prepared, because this is a very, very significant tornado, potentially one of the strongest we've had all day. There is debris being lofted absolutely everywhere. Looks like it may be about to cycle. Hopefully it's going to lift before it reaches Robards. We do have a nudger coming in behind it, which is partially probably why we're seeing this. This storm looks like it's trying to produce something, and it may be tornado warned here soon. We don't have a tornado possible tag yet, but I think its inflow is cut off from the south unless it begins to ingest it and use it. But down to the Paducah storm, nothing much new with that. Doesn't look all that organized, and they just allowed the tornado warning to expire, so good news there. We're going to head back down south briefly to this storm near Corning. Definitely some rotation in there. Could be a weak tornado. Definitely a wall cloud at minimum, but we don't have any reports of that. Brian Empfinger's on it right now. Headed towards Piggott and Greenway, Nimmons and Holcomb. If this thing manages to latch on to any sort of a boundary or any sort of a nudger from behind, we're probably going to see a fairly significant supercell, if not a pretty well-defined tornado out of that one. Bowling Green, it's thinking about it. I don't know what to do about this blob of convection here. That could be a new mesocyclone forming. But I think we have a solid chance of seeing a pretty significant tornado still drop out of this thing if it gets its act together. Fortunately, Big City Shield is a thing that happens. We don't know why it does, but big cities tend to not get hit. Of course, St. Louis did earlier today, so, it doesn't work all the time. But Bowling Green, it's looking up for you. It's not safe, but it's looking up. This little guy is still trying to produce a tornado. It's not that worrying. It's not a very large supercell. Don't mean to be demeaning to the supercell. Like, it's a very nice looking, like, spread eagle or winged eagle, whichever one that is called. But for as of now, it's probably got a decent wall cloud on it, maybe a funnel, but I'm not expecting to see much out of this. I have to mention, before we got online for the Columbus tornado, this storm produced. We have wall cloud reports. We have wall cloud and tornado reports spanning. Let's see, how long is this approximately? Like, I mean, that's 130 miles of consistent tornado reports. We could have had a very long track, at least supercell, if not a genuine tornado on the ground for off and on for maybe 130 miles. Let's come back to our primary supercell. Let's take a look at this one. Looks like it's lifting, kind of. We have debris getting ejected off through the RFD here. Doesn't look like, with the location here, that it is doing any damage, or at least that much for the moment, which is encouraging. I do think it's cycling. I think it's lifting. Robards is coming for you. It is not moving. It is coming straight at you. Tons of inflow. Still a very, very dangerous, well-structured storm. I do think the significant tornado has lifted, though. But we have absolutely massive, massive debris fallout coming through the RFD at the moment. I hope everyone's okay. I hope everybody's sheltered. That was heartbreaking to see. It went right. I'm hoping it dodged that subdivision. It's really hard to tell with this radar, and with this program that I have, but it definitely hit some structures in Southwest Morganfield. We need search and rescue there, especially focusing on this little, I don't know if it's a shopping center, but this is likely what took a hit, and then it progressed south across this way. Very near miss. Whether it actually hit this subdivision here or not, we'll start to hear soon. All right, we've got an updated warning with this. If we could load up. Yep. So it's rotating. Don't think it's on the ground much at all, if at all. I think we still have just a PDS attached to this. It's producing tornadoes, but the tornadoes are not long-lived, which is a good thing. Very good thing. If we had long trackers today, it would be unbelievable, and it would be catastrophic. That debris fallout is horrible to see. That is a lot of debris. Search and rescue is probably ongoing in Morganfield. I really, really hope everyone's okay. We have reports of tornadoes. Let's see if there's any description attached to this. Reported on Anderson Road. Brett Adair, stovepipe tornado. Yeah, so we likely just saw a pretty significant tornado hit Morganfield, South Morganfield area. The storm behind it is still trying to do something, but I don't think it's going to. It just does not have the inflow available to it that it needs to produce a tornado. The Freedom Storm looks kind of about the same. I think this is just going to be kind of a small hailer, little bit of a scare for some people, but I can't imagine we're going to see much out of it. But Spencer, keep a very close eye on this, and Steinsville and Ellettsville. Someone reported a lot of hail near Ellettsville. I hope somebody got pictures. But Freedom, you are pretty much in the clear to watch this thing go by. Mind the RFD. It's going to be pretty strong. Let's check back in on Bowling Green here. That's not a good look. It's trying to produce a tornado right now. It may be producing a tornado right now. It's hard to tell off of radar. If it is, it's not significant yet, but it is heading straight, and I mean directly, into downtown Bowling Green. If any sort of a tornado touches down, there's going to be pretty significant damage regardless, simply for the fact that this is such a populated area. It's going to be tracking. I mean, it's going right across town. Hopefully it is not going to do anything, but it's coming right out of the mountains, right over blue level right now, and it's headed straight towards I mean, right in the middle. Hopefully, reaching slightly flatter territory does not help it, but we're gonna have to watch it really closely because that's a pretty dangerous sign. It's not as pronounced as the one we were just looking at, but that's a significant tornado producer that we're looking at right now, or at least it could be in the very near future. Um, gonna keep looking at all of this as necessary. Um, bring Discord back up. Let's take a look at this storm here. That's very loud. I would like it to not be as loud. You. That is still a very strong tornado producer. It's headed towards Robards now. We have lots of chasers closing in on this. James Wilson is right ahead of it. I expect it's probably producing some kind of a tornado right now, although it's hard to tell what exactly that tornado might be. Get Discord on here. Actually, just get everything. Bring that down. Still doing development on the fly here. How loud is that? Nah, it's not too bad. We'll bring it down a bit. All right. Well, headed into Robards. This thing still has all the hallmarks of a very strong tornado producer. Unfortunately, it's probably getting wrapped in rain right now, at least a little bit, kind of disorganized, but there is a debris ball there. This is still a large, strong tornado likely on the ground as at this moment. Although I do think a lot of that is still just fallout. Hoping and praying that it is not still on the ground, but velocity is showing this is either about to produce again or it is still actively producing. It looks like it may be inhaling its own RFD a little bit, which would strengthen it. No clear debris ball as it's out kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's hard to tell if it's actually on the ground or not. I hope everybody's clearing out of the way. Ben Williams is on this too. I'll be checking in on his feed if I can. Let's keep watching this very closely. I'm gonna swap over. Ooh. Still very broad, but very strong rotation on this thing. Um, no, you could screenshot multiple screens. That's neat. All right, we're going to go ahead and post this. Should be drinking water, not coffee, but what do I know? Swap back over. Again, the good news is it looks disorganized. Still very strong potential for little funnels popping up underneath this thing. But it is, I guarantee you, if it's on the ground, it's rain wrapped right now. Very dangerous tornado, very hard to see. Could plant itself again. I think it's starting to get a little cluttered as the front is catching up to it. But I don't think it's done yet. I would not be shocked if we saw another tornado out of it before it gets fully overtaken. You can see from a distance the upper level rotation is still extremely strong, kind of a BWER in there, so it is continually strengthening itself. Down here in Bowling Green, if anything happened, it just went through town, but fortunately, it looks like it may have stayed elevated. It took a swipe. I think there was if we zoom in really close here, I do think we just had a tornado in Bowling Green, Kentucky, although it does not look like it was strong, but it's likely that it still did some damage here for a moment and then is now occluding north through Plum Springs. But this could be it for this supercell as well. We'll see if they extend the tornado warning. As of now, it's moving out of populated areas, though. So we're going to check back up here with the Morganfield tornado. Yeah, so it's cycling right now. I don't know if it's going to produce again, if it continues getting choked off by these storms to the south and it's getting pushed by the front that's catching up to it. It may not produce again, but right now it still has very, very strong upper level rotation. Still very well organized as it kind of ingests all of this rain to the south. It looks like it may be able to clear out its inflow and go again. If it goes again, it's going to be headed hopefully south of Owensboro, but unfortunately that takes it right towards Masonville and Whitesville. So here in the next 30 minutes, 20 minutes or so, you'll need to be ready for a tornado warning for that area. We are probably about to see another one continue east of Robards. I think y'all are missing the worst of this, although the RFD is probably going to be pretty rough because this is a very strong storm. Owensboro, if it continues on its current path, you're just going to have to deal with hail, which isn't necessarily a good thing because that hail is up to 1.5 inches in diameter, but it's better than a tornado. Hopefully, that's all that we see. Thunderstorm wind damage in Morganfield and potential gas leak. No surprise there. It's going to be a while before people are able to get down to South Morganfield to see the damage, search and rescue, see if anyone's injured. As of now, the tornado warning has not been extended, which is not a surprise. It'll be a little bit before this thing is capable of producing a tornado again. Bowling Green, wall cloud reported from the southwest of town, but I don't think there is much going on here. I think there's probably a significant wall cloud, maybe a little spin up tornado in there, but as of now, it is occluding. It is slowly dying out. We have a new tornado warning, new PDS tornado warning for Robards, Masonville, and Whitesville. As expected, you'll need to get to shelter. This is still PDS. It is likely not on the ground a significant amount right now, but is capable of producing another stovepipe like we just saw in Morganfield at any moment. I mean, if it wraps up, it'll take less than 5 minutes, and we may not see it coming. Yeah, so we have a radar indicated technically, but also confirmed damaging tornado, which is an interesting situation. But they've determined that this supercell is very, very strong, very powerful, and could easily produce another strong tornado over the period of the next 20 to 30 minutes as it heads into Masonville and Whitesville. I'm going to check in on a couple of chasers in the area, see if they've seen anything, posted anything. Not seeing much right now. The 15 hatched for tornadoes has been extended south, with the latest. That is an unbelievable amount of tornado reports across Indiana with that one Columbus storm. But the 15 hatch has been extended south, and I would expect that's probably to incorporate these storms here that we just saw go tornado warned and then back off a little bit. This little one here near Batesville could be interesting. It's kind of out by itself. It's riding the boundary. If it gets latched onto the surface enough, it could prove to be a problem. But as of now, this is our only story, so we are slowly regressing down the chain of intensity. Thank goodness, because we do not need any more significant tornadoes today. We already have had enough. And say you could move over, come back here. Latest tornado warning in Monroe, Indiana. Yep, there it is. That's probably for the Freedom Storm, I would guess. Yeah. So, I mean, there could be a little tornado in there. It's not a strong cell, but it doesn't need a lot to get going. Looks like it's taking a little bit of a left turn. It's occluding just a tad. It's going to pass south of Morgantown towards Nineveh, Edinburgh, and Taylorsville. Don't see it strengthening that much. If we take a look at the surface analysis, latest surface analysis for Cape is not showing much up that way. Kind of riding the boundary between all of it, but there's the storm fuel is dying out a lot. We were down to 3,500 at most. Except for down here, we have 4,500 right in front of these storms, which again is probably where part of the 15 hatched came from. We've got very strong low-level flow. We can see that here. If we check the violent tornado parameter, still very high up here. It's very high to the south of that storm, but there's not quite enough Cape to maintain it. This area is still very dangerous with the Morganville, I can never remember, Morganfield supercell, which it's still moving into more and more favorable conditions, but it is a mess right now. I will tell you that. It is not anywhere near producing a tornado at this moment. It could be very soon once it completes this cycle it's doing. These bigger storms do tend to sometimes have very extensive cycles. They have to restructure themselves completely. But also they can cycle pretty quick, so we'll just have to keep an eye on this, but it could be gusting out. This could be it for this cell. I don't want to bet on that. Masonville, you still need to be in your safe place. Always, always, always be in your safe place. This is still PDS. Whitesville and Fordsville as well. Owensboro, you are in the clear for the moment. There's a bit of rotation up here. It looks like it's trying to form. But again, this entire area is very, very just wide, broad rotation. Just 1 second. Let me make sure I've got you on the mic here. Okay. Yeah, you're on now. All right, go. What you got? We have Josh here in the chat with us. He is up in the Ohio area, keeping track of some of these storms as they move in. Right now, it's a bunch of severe. Drop this down to 2 frames. None of these are capable of producing tornadoes, fortunately, but they are likely producing some flooding rain, and high winds, some 1-inch hail, so pretty significant hail in this area. Dayton, Ohio, moving towards Columbus, but again, these are all just severe. These are not tornado warned. Still have to look. We've had some extremely long track supercells. We have a new tornado warning just to the southeast of Bowling Green, headed towards Glasgow. This thing is shaping up again. It is continually trying to produce, and while it's not moving into a favorable environment, we do know that that never stops a tornado from forming somehow. South of Smiths Grove, y'all are probably getting slammed with some absolutely massive hail right now, but this thing is restructuring and it's trying to take a go at Glasgow, so please be in your safe place. Be ready for this to be upgraded to PDS if it decides to shape itself up here. Again, moving through very populated areas, and fortunately it's not on the ground, but that hook is extending. There is a lot of rotation there. We could very easily see a tornado drop out of that here in the near future. We'll move back up to our story of the day here east of Robards. It is undergoing a very significant restructuring. It's starting to look just a tad more clear with the inflow here, but it's getting interrupted. It's starting to fall apart. We'll see if it can hold on to its mezzo, but for the moment, this thing could be burning itself out, which would be a good thing to hear for everybody involved. As of now, we only have, let me see, we have 3 tornado warned storms for the moment, and none of them at the current moment seem to be capable of producing anything. In the near future, they could. Everything is cycling. The LLJ is kicking in because if I look outside, the sun is going down. Smiths Grove is getting some absolutely massive hail right now. 2-inch hail likely, so there's probably some pretty significant hail damage. Park City, y'all need to watch out for this too if you've got a few minutes. In Highsville, maybe try and get your cars in the garage. Cave City, you could also see some pretty big hail out of this thing too. Very hard to see any definite rotation, but if we check the upper levels, it is again getting restructured. It's starting to take in some more inflow, but I think it's running out of favorable shear, so hopefully we won't be looking at anything significant there. As this moves further and further east of Robards, I'm thinking we may be done with the tornado threat out of this thing at least for another 30 minutes. This is going to take a pretty significant restructuring to get anything notable out of it. Masonville, You're not under the gun for anything violent at the moment. Still very broad upper level rotation in this whole area. But if we take a look, it's hard to tell if it's going to do anything. We can kind of see this really round, broad area of rotation here. So we'll keep kind of an eye on that midsection. But this has the look of a gust out. I think it may be elevated, and I think it may be undercut because of all of this cold air flowing out of the storms to its south. The RFD is kind of getting clogged up here. It's just losing its structure. So I would go out on a limb and say we are probably going to be dropping the tornado warning here soon. Because as of now, it is not capable of producing a tornado, and the PDS is pretty much due to the environment it's in and its history of producing tornadoes. But right now, this is not a violent tornado. This is likely not a tornado at all. Probably some pretty high winds on this, though. I would watch out for some damaging wind gusts. Lots and lots of lightning showing that this thing is nowhere near done, at least being a pretty strong storm. Hard to tell what's going on down to the south here. Just some clutter, just some rain, but it looks... In terms of storm chasing, it looks ugly. It does not look promising whatsoever, although it probably has some fantastic structure. I may take a break and eat. I may actually have a chance to do that for once. To move things around just a little bit.
Hey, it's Josh again.
Hello, welcome back. Did you have to make a traffic stop this time?
This time. No, I am currently driving back towards the east. Um, like you said, this is kind of starting to line out, bow out, however you want to describe it, I believe. Um, Seems like we're getting more of a damaging wind threat. I'm approaching the West Carrollton area, I think is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty behind a pretty strong bit of gusty wind if the radar's showing that correctly. But trying to head back east, maybe get in front of this thing. The lightning is absolutely insane.
Oh, I would expect so. These storms are all still pretty strong, even if they're not producing anything. Probably some pretty good structure on some of the cells down near Monroe, Lebanon, Westchester. Um, those all probably look pretty cool, but they are well displaced from the most favorable area of tornado development and all of that. So we're probably in the clear on that. Um,
Yeah, I was sitting down in the like Germantown area, southwest of Dayton, kind of where that giant group of tornado warned supercells were heading, and then kind of as soon as they crossed into the Ohio area, they all just lost their spin.
yeah, they've all gotten pretty far from any decent amount of instability or sheer. Pretty much everything's getting cut off because the LLJ kicking in after dark really generally only applies down in Dixie and out in the plains and not up in the Northeast, from what I've been able to tell. Um, so you may just get some good hail, good lighting producers probably still up there, but the tornado threat, I would say, for Ohio is pretty much over, barring one of those random spin ups that comes out of nowhere overnight.
Right. Yeah, so that's kind of why I'm heading back here, trying to get out in front of it, maybe get a cool shot. I haven't been able to use my camera. I haven't been able to use my drone because by the time everything got there, it was already raining. There was precipitation well out in front of these storms, so they got a lot of energy behind them.
Yep, it's a pretty significant just general mass of storms up there, so it's going to be hard to it'll be hard to get structure, unfortunately, as it's all kind of just turning into just rain generally across the board.
Right. But I should hopefully be able to pull some cool lightning shots from the dash cam. Hopefully those are still on there. Hopefully I have enough memory. I put a new SD card in it, so hopefully
Mm-hmm.
I'll still have that by the time I get back and can pull that. But a lot of leaves on the ground. Haven't seen any like major like limb damage or anything like that. So probably looking at a good swath of, I would say, 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds, but I'm sure we've got gusts up to 60, 70 in some places.
Yup. Yeah, it's we're I'm interested to see all the reports tomorrow because I mean I'm looking on my map now and there are tornado and hail and wind reports all over the map and we usually don't get a ton of those. There'll be one sporadically every once in a while, but I mean like take the Bowling Green supercell out there for example. It's got tornado reports and wall cloud reports from like all the way over near Princeton and Hopkinsville, all the way across of like let's see what like almost 100 miles. The storm up near Owensboro that produced that SIG just a little bit earlier has tornado reports as far back as uh near Carbondale. That's not the right tool. Let's see. And I mean, we've got tornado reports on that one almost 100 miles, maybe. And then the big story, actually, from earlier today, before I was able to get on, was the one that went through Columbus, because we had wall cloud report. From the wall cloud report to where the storm kind of died is about 100 miles on the mark as well. Um, so long lived supercells today producing just cyclic supercells producing multiple tornadoes, absolutely classic supercells. But I think we're finally burning out. I think they've used up all the energy available. I keep taking a look at that one that produced a tornado in Morganfield. We're starting to see more damage report. Got trees uprooted, looks like, near to where that tornado likely was. I heard reports it was a stovepipe. I believe Brett Adair set that in. So pretty strong tornado likely, given the radar, how it looked, and the amount of debris that it kicked up. Massive debris fallout. Um,
Yeah, from what I was kind of able to look at while I was heading out here, I mean, there was some pretty absolutely insane signatures on those earlier storms. I mean,
yeah,
SBC nailed it on the head for where that was going to be.
yep. And I'm curious to also see their practically perfect outlook. Because I know there was discussion, and I mean I even participated in it of potentially there being a sneaky high risk today, but did not get that. Not high enough confidence. Not at all surprised. Today, I mean, there was no expectation that today was going to be quite as extreme tornado wise as it was, but everything lined up. We got much less curved shear near the surface, so we ended up getting a lot more streamwise vorticity. Lot better of an environment than kind of expected for these storms. So we ended up getting a lot more than we thought.
Yeah, from like the models and everything that I was looking at beforehand, I mean, it seemed like it was going to be kind of an ugly MCS pretty early on, but only here recently did that kind of start to materialize. I mean, there was some, you know, Oklahoma type supercells out in the Illinois and even into Indiana, especially, which was pretty wild.
Yep, and in the mountains of Kentucky, of all places.
Right, that's pretty rare for out there.
Well, I keep watching the one headed towards Masonville, but it looks like it is tapped out and finished for now. It's turning into a big mass of hail and wind and rain, which, given the previous uh, experience with the storm, is about as good as you can get in terms of asking. But I think we are probably done with the significant tornado threat for the day, kind of across the board. I think we may see some kick up as they move into Tennessee. They extended the 15 hatch further south a little bit. So there might be something down in Tennessee that we're not really seeing. I want to take another look at the mesoanalysis real quick. and just see what our situation looks like. But yeah, we're getting near dark, and with the amount of tornadoes we had pretty early on, wouldn't be shocked if we're kind of finished. The Cape is dropping really, really rapidly. We're down to at most 2,500 up in the primary area, down to maybe 2,000 at very most around those storms. So Tennessee still has 3,000. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on Arkansas and Tennessee. The LLJ is absolutely cranking here. I can feel it shaking the apartment, and some pretty significant surface observations in terms of low level jet. But the problem is these storms went linear really, really quick. So we may see some QLCS. We may see a rogue supercell get able to pop up. This one over near Tuckerman, near Jonesboro area is off by itself, but it's not latched onto what it needs. So we may be all done, like completely for the day. There's always one random one later, but
Always. But no, I think you're pretty much, nailing it on the head there. I think we're kind of winding down. Like I said, probably a lot of wind, a lot of rain, a lot of lightning. But as far as the main event, at least up here, uh, probably looking at being pretty done. Just trying to navigate my way through places that I've never been, on roads I can't see.
oh yeah, always the great thing when you're flying blind in an area you've never been in before. Uh, Getting reports of almost 2-inch hail in Bowling Green, but aside from that, I think Bowling Green missed out on the worst of it. Very nearly had a significant tornado go straight through that city. Fortunately, we didn't. Very nearly had a significant tornado go through Owensboro, but it died out ahead of time, so looks like St. Louis is the unlucky one today.
Right. Yeah. Then we had some population centers under the gun today for sure. And I mean, hopefully, as far as I've heard, at least, I haven't really able to keep track too much. No one was hurt or anything like that, but it definitely could have been a lot worse.
Yep, some blown out windows, a couple of roofs got lifted off, and there's I think a couple of building collapses. But for the most part, not much more than that. I mean, that doesn't sound great, but it's much better than it could have been in a populated area. So, yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
at this point, I may honestly call the stream here and go eat and then come back if anything else spins up. I've got a good 2 hours until we get our own storms here. I'll probably set up a time lapse. Uh, but yeah, looks like we are pretty much all done. So,
All right. Well, yeah, if you want to go do that, I'm going to continue kind of heading back home myself. If I have anything, I'll just throw it up on Twitter and tag the group in it.
yep, I'm always watching Twitter during events like this, so if I see you post anything, I'll make sure to get it up. Yeah, that's it for today. That was rather intense, and I was not expecting to be able to load in under a tornado emergency and have it continue for another hour and a half, however long I've been streaming. I've not been keeping track. Yep, we'll call it there. Thanks for watching. I had a decent amount of viewers this time, which I haven't had that much before, so that'll do it.
Well, hopefully we can, continue growing that.
Yep. Alrighty.